Welcome to Positive Talk Radio. We're glad you're here. I'm Kevin McDonald, your host for this grand adventure, and I thank you for joining us. You see, our mission is to create a positive, personal connection to all things with courage and love. We invite terrific guests, interesting topics, and great conversation, all in a fun, entertaining way. And we always manage to learn something, too. So I hope you will stay right where you are for this episode of Positive Talk Radio. And welcome everybody to another episode of Positive Talk Radio. My name is Kevin McDonald. I get to be your host today, which means I get to play with some of the most dynamic and interesting people on the planet. And we try every day to bring the most positive folks that are really interested in making a difference in other people's lives. And today is absolutely no exception. Because the gal that I'm talking to today, her name is Donna Scoates Nixon, and I hope I said that right.
You did.
Awesome. And she is a remarkable person. She's an author, and she's written the book, You Don't Need Anybody's, I love the title, by the way. You don't need anybody's permission to live your best life. And that's the most positive thing that I can think of. And so with that, Donna, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Awesome. You know, my executive producer, because this is Positive Talk Radio, says that I need to say positive like a bunch of times for branding purposes. So if I'm incessant about that, then that's, you know, I hope you'll understand.
I'll try and be positive about that.
Hey, well, hold on. No, wait. No. That's it. Okay.
I want one of those.
I love my little device. So, as an example, Donna Scoates Nixon is with us. Anyway, so that's just my sound effect.
I have to get me one of those. So
they are really, it really is cool. I got to tell you, it's really awesome. So tell me the title. Now, I heard a rumor because you wrote it down that you had you had a legal pad with 2 pages of titles and none of them worked.
I did. I went through as I was getting ready to write the book and was trying to come up with the right title and just started basically just writing whatever came to mind, what I knew that I'd written about already, and just tried to pull sentences out to think what's going to reach somebody that's sitting on the shelf at Barnes & Noble. And none of it worked. And then I started going through emails that people had written me through the years with my coaching. And they thanked me for giving them permission to do whatever it is that they wanted to do. And I thought, it's just so crazy. You don't need permission. This is your life. This is your one life. So you don't need to ask anybody's permission. The only permission you need is your own. And that's how I came up with the title.
And that is so true, but how come nobody believes it?
You know what? That's a great question. I don't know what it is. I myself, even as I was going through this process, found myself waiting for permission from my literary agent or, different publishers. I'd originally had partners that were going to work with me on this, and I was waiting for them. So even I, having written about this, and that's partly why I did, thought, I don't need anyone's permission. I don't need to wait for a publisher to choose to do this. I'm going to do it myself. I want to get this out there. And there are publishers still interested in this, but I didn't want to wait anymore. I didn't want to wait for their permission. So I'm hoping that by sharing this, it will give an aha moment to other people that they also don't need permission. Because I don't know why it is that we seem to think that we do. Maybe it's a childhood issue or whatever it is. We don't need it. So I'm hoping to make that aha moment.
So have you found, I know you said that you were going to work with some partners. Have you found that your passion and your vision has outstripped their ability to keep up? I have found that to be a real problem for me. Is I can't find a partner that has got the same mindset to move forward the way that I would like to move forward. Do you have that problem too?
I do. It's kind of interesting to hear you say that because I don't know what it was. I maybe in the beginning I didn't feel I had the confidence to do it myself, so I was waiting on other people to help me. But what I did find in going through the process is exactly what you're saying. They didn't have the same vision, so then I'm faced with, do I continue with my vision or do I try and tweak it to their vision, which I didn't want to do. Nobody's going to have the same passion that I have for my own project. So I decided there was a reason for that, and that I needed to just do it myself. So yeah, exactly for that reason.
I have found that in oftentimes that really is what it takes, because you have to have the intestinal fortitude to be
Yes.
able to strike out on your own and to say, you know what, I really don't give a damn what
Yes.
everybody else says or does. This is what I'm going to do. And from my frame of reference, my job is to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let the universe and whoever else is out there bring people to it who need it. And I know that's what you're doing with your work.
Yes, thank you. I am a big proponent of the universe will bring us what we need. The Secret, which everybody has heard about at this point, I'm sure, the movie The Secret or the book. I use a lot of the same principles because the law of attraction works. I am, living proof of this. Over 25 years, I've been teaching these principles, and I've seen it work in my own life. And I am definitely one who says I don't give a damn. I am going to, again, this is my one life, so I'm going to do what it is I want, as long as it's not hurting anybody. My choice is to make things better for people, so I just go for it.
Make things better, and dare I say it, more positive.
Exactly.
It is what we are all about, and
Yes.
it is, when you get into that mindset and you start going down that path, and where you are having a good time every day when you wake up, because today is going to be a great day.
Yes.
and you're not talking about things like the one saying that I hate the most is when you ask somebody how they are and they say, "Oh, not too bad." What are you saying? Not too bad?
Yes. Yes.
It's crazy that,
Yep.
that people have trouble with that. Now I know you were teaching The Secret before The Secret was The Secret. So that was not 25 years ago, so it was less than that. So
Exactly.
congratulations that you've been doing that, and you found that it works for you, huh?
I do. Now, my late husband, Richard Gilly Nixon, was also an author and had a book out called The Lazy Man's Way to Riches, which is an extremely popular book in the personal growth field and also in business and direct marketing, because those kind of two books in one. And it was through him that I learned about the law of attraction, what is now known as the law of attraction. And I started implementing it in my life back in I'm trying to think of when that was, 90 maybe. I mean, I've lost track of time. I'm at that age, but it's been a very long time. But I started implementing it and saw immediately the difference. The other thing that I really do is I ask for whatever I want. I ask for it, and that's part of that law of attraction. And it works. It works for me. I've been very blessed, but I work at it as well.
Why is it that people don't believe that they deserve it?
Boy, that's a therapy answer there, because I don't know. I mean, we all go through that. I think there are certain times in my life where I too have gone through that. So I don't know. That's beyond my scope. My goal and what I try and give to people is to let them know that they do deserve it. And in walking through this book, if you walk through it, I call it a journey, because what you're doing is I'm trying to make you aware that you do deserve it. that there are some things that you want with some probing questions. And I'm going to help you get there by giving you some tools to get there and doing some real talk about it, so that I can kind of help you through some things that may have been holding you back and making you feel like you don't deserve it.
I love the premise of the book, because what you're doing for people is, if for whatever reason they can't afford a life coach, they don't know which life coach to get, what's somebody who's going to resonate with who they are, or for whatever reason. But this book allows them to go and to kind of figure it out on their own and then decide how to proceed, right?
Well, exactly. And life coaching people do seem to get a little afraid of that. They either think it's woo-woo stuff or they feel it's therapy. And it's really not, because the simplest way to explain the difference between life coaching and therapy is looking at your past, which you do need to do somewhat of to be able to move forward sometimes. But life coaching really is about moving you forward. It's about getting you from where you are right now to where you want to be. And that's what I try and do with the book. I do have something starting this year. Actually, it should be starting in February, called Book Club with the Author.
I love that, by the way.
Thank you. So you're going to get a little bit of both on that one. I'm going to keep it limited to 10 people each session. What we'll do is read through the book like you would in any kind of book club. But what you're going to get that other people don't get is you get to talk to me, the author, and a life coach through the process. So as we're going through the book, I will be doing a Zoom call once a week so that we can work through whatever that chapter is that we're working on at that time. So you're getting that interaction with me, and you're getting a little dose of what a life coach can give you, but you're also getting the author helping you through what it is that I was writing about.
We are in a very icky time, and that's a technical term.
I was saying,
with the COVID and with the pandemic and all of that. But there are some real positives that are coming out of it. One of which is that I don't think that most people would have thought about doing a Zoom call to do what you're doing now, which now is going to become a very, very mainstream thing.
Yes.
And it also allows you the ability to help more people, because you're not traveling from here to hither and yon to talk to groups of people. You can do it all from the Zoom, and you can connect to people in a much more meaningful way. I think that that's going to be one of the great positive things that are going to come out of the pandemic.
I agree. I am not one to be on camera very much. So it's really, I'm a writer. I want to sit in my office and write, or sit in my backyard with my laptop and write. So having to embrace all the video technology that we have to be able to communicate nowadays has really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And, I'm great talking in person on places, but I've never been one for camera. So it's really enabled me now to push the envelope a little bit, and now make that something that's going to be my main way of communicating this year.
I know exactly what you're saying, because when I was doing a podcast, I could hide behind the fact that it was audio.
Right.
And I used to make the joke that I've got a face for audio. And so consequently, when it got to the point where we're now, doing video and audio and all of that, it's like those insecurities come up. I'm too fat. I'm too short. I'm too bald. I got glasses. My teeth aren't right. Whatever it is. And I applaud you for practicing what you preach and stepping out of your comfort zone to do something that you really are not all that comfortable with.
Well, thank you. I think it's important, as I thought about the process, because on my website, youdontneedanyone'spermission.com, I have many courses that are various chapters of the book that I have pulled out of the book and created into many courses, to kind of give people bite-size idea of what it is that I do. And on that one, I did mostly audio. So when I started thinking about this book club with the author and I was talking to some people about it, I thought, you know, what really makes the difference is by having that personal interaction. It's as if they could be sitting here having a life coaching session with me in my office, but I'm able to do it all over the country, all over the world. So it's really getting that personal one-on-one attention that I think makes the difference. And that's why I decided to go to that extreme and do that.
I think you're doing the exact right thing.
Thank you. I think it'll be fun.
Number one, it'll be fun. Number two, you get to have the opportunity to get 10 people or 8 people, whatever the number is, into a room who can benefit from the experiences that other people are having, and the problems and the things that you can bring to light some of those issues, so that, and I'll bet you that you're going to have people in your group that are going to become lifelong friends.
You know what? I think that'll happen as well. I'm very conversational. I'm very down to earth. And I could set it up for an hour. I would go 2 hours if I needed to. I'm going to take the time that I need to give people whatever it is that they need. I did a beta test of this a couple of years ago when I first had the idea. I did it with my late husband's book. And it was such a great experience. And those people are still some of my friends. I had a group of 10. Actually, I think it was 15. We walked through his book, and we had a Facebook group, which we're going to be doing for this as well, where we'll be able to interact with each other through the week too. But it was that time, that Zoom call, where we had some major breakthroughs when we did that. So that was what really pushed me to do it this time, is remembering what an impact it made, and knowing that I am still friends with some of those people and that they still commented on it. And it's actually some of their feedback that helped me write this book.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you've been a life coach for a long time now. So,
yes,
I mean, like, I consider like the 90s, day before yesterday.
Me too, actually.
But that was 30 years ago.
I can't wrap my head around that.
I can't either. And but so you've got lots, and I want to point out to folks, I use this guy as an example. I know a guy, he is a financial planner. He only takes $1 million customers plus, and he's got a financial coach and a life coach, because he gets it. He understands that you need to have somebody else's perspective.
You really do.
Because you can't do it yourself. Nobody is that self-analytical where they can step outside of themselves and to look at themselves as objectively as somebody else can.
Exactly. You really need that outside perspective to hear what you're saying. My best friend is the resident life coach for my company, Donna. It's timetosoar.com is her website. She is amazing. She is my life coach. So I am a life coach, but I have a life coach, just as therapists often have their own therapist. So with her, the thing that she always talks about is she has the ability to listen and hear what it is that they say that they want, and she helps them get it. So you can be talking about something and not realizing that what you're trying to think of the wording, that what you're really saying, you're reading between the lines, so to speak. We can read between the lines, I guess is the way to say it. You may not even realize that you know what you want, but we hear you a little bit differently. And we can help guide you through whatever's holding you back. So whether it be fear or feeling you don't deserve it, or where you've got family members telling you you'll never be able to do that, whatever that is, we can help you through that. And the same thing with this book. It's to help you take off the mask that you've been wearing, not the mask that we all have to wear nowadays with COVID, but that mask of where we get caught wearing it sometimes because our husband wants us to do something a certain way, or our family wants us to be a certain way. And we get caught up in that life that it kind of happens slowly. And all of a sudden, we're living a life we don't want to live. I, as a life coach, want to help you through that. I, as an author, can reach a lot more people than I can in my home office. So that is what this book is about. It's about helping you take off that mask, helping you decide what it is that you need, helping you be your own life coach in a sense, by making you aware, doing a little self-evaluation, making you aware, and talking through it. I ask you some questions in the book that make you think. And it's the questions I'd be asking you if you were sitting on my couch in my office.
Such as, can you give me an example of one of the questions?
Sure. Well, my thing is, what is it that you really want? If you strip down all the things, if you sit down and think about what it is that you want, and I've done this with people, they will sit there and say, well, we want to do this, or my child wants me to do this. I had a woman who, when I asked this question, it took her 3 days to come back to me and tell me what it is she wanted, because her whole life had been devoted to her children or her husband or her job, and she had forgotten her. So I say in the book, don't grieve yourself, because you can lose yourself and get caught up in the everyday life and getting bills paid, which we of course all have to do. But that doesn't mean you can't do you as well. And so I have a process where you go through a series of questions, and starting off with, what is it that you really want? And not just wouldn't it be nice if, but something that will get you up off the couch and get you excited about what it is that you want. So that's the start of it. You go through several layers of those questions. But it's also about identifying the people in your life that are stopping you from getting you what you want. Those toxic people. We all know those.
Big deal. That's a big deal.
The Eeyores in our life. And it's about going through those questions. I have a series of questions that I ask you to help you identify those people that may not want the best for you. And how can you move forward if you have people in your life that don't want the best for you? You need people that are supportive. So we go through a process of that as well.
When you were writing the book, was there anybody in your life that was like, oh, Donna, you can't know Donna? I think it's great that it's a nice little, hobby for you to write these things down, but it'll never sell. You'll never get it out. Did you have anybody like that?
Well, I'll tell you, about 10 years ago when I first wanted to write this book, I had people doing that. They are no longer in my life, because I went through my own process of weeding out the people that didn't want the best for me and were not supportive of me. Life is too short, in my opinion, to have those people in your life. And they can be family members even, So I was talking with my brother about that today. Life is just too short. Like, it always comes down to that. And it sounds so cliche, but it really is. And if you want to move forward in your life, sometimes you're going to have to leave some that, and find new playmates to be able to, support you in what it is you want to do.
In my world, in my life, it really has been rather interesting, because the universe has made it impossible for me to continue doing what I was doing, because they just put things like when my ex-wife left, all the friends went with her. Now, none of these folks were particularly good for me, but I'm a kind-hearted guy, and I wouldn't have wanted to separate and do all of that. But now it was kind of given to me to do that. Do you find that when we're looking at our life in total and stuff, and as we move down, that there are things, synchronicities that happen for us that the universe is giving us, and then we are poo-pooing it and saying, oh no, that's not right? Or do you find that there are people that are in your work that come to you and say, and they miss the things that are out there, right center, that the universe is providing for them, and they're not taking advantage of it?
Absolutely. That's one of the key things for me coaching people, is making them aware. They can sit and tell me all the things that are happening, and like you say, poo-pooing it. And I'm like, wait, you need to pause and think about this. Think about, if that were happening to a friend of yours, wouldn't you say hello? Like, don't you, like, aren't you getting it? And that's what I do, because people get caught up in their life, and making a living, and don't pay attention to the good things that are happening to them. And you're right, the universe puts people in our life for a reason. They make things happen in our life for a reason, like with your ex-wife, the friends leaving. I think that all happened for a reason. So it's being open to being aware is what to me is critical about making that the secrets of the universe basically work for us. It's being open to it and being aware and listening and paying attention, so you can make the most of it.
Can I tell you this story real quick?
Of course.
I'll be on your couch if that's okay.
Of course.
and I started this podcast a couple of years ago, and I used some of the material that I had from 2003 Neil Donald Walsh interviews and Gary Zukav and others, and I built it and started to get some listeners and stuff. And I was really enjoying doing it. Then I started doing it live, and I really enjoyed it. And I made the mistake of saying, boy, I wish I could just do this full time. Now, I was 63 at the time. And I was 63 at the time, and I was driving a bus for a living, a Seattle Metro bus, and was working about 50 hours a week. So I could put up an episode every now and again. And but I really said, I really would like to be in a financial situation that I could afford to not make as much money, and that I can do this full time and didn't have to work anymore. Guess what happened? My son and I were out and about, and I had a fellow bus driver that actually lives here, and I had the opportunity to go to a 55 plus mobile home community, and said, well, I'll just go look around. And there happened to be a real estate person there, so they showed me a place. I didn't like it very much, but on the way back, she stopped at another place that she didn't even represent. And she stopped and said, I don't have anything to do with this, but I thought maybe you'd like to look at it. I live in it today.
Oh, is that right?
I was able to buy it with the right amount of money. It had been refurbished and stuff. It's a beautiful place, and it just was perfect for me. And so it also cut my expenses in half. So then I could suddenly, I didn't have to work as much, so that I could do this more. And so as I was moving into my new place, remember, I'd asked to not work. I asked to be able to retire so that I could do this all the time. And I was, the front steps were they had built them, and it was like 7 inches, 7 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches. So the top one was a little higher than the other ones. And so I tripped over it while I was carrying in a lamp and fell and tore my rotator cuff.
Ooh.
And so I had to have surgery to repair that. So I was off work, and then I was babysitting my son's 8-week-old Dalmatian or Labrador puppy, and he got caught up in my feet. I fell and tore up my other arm.
Oh my gosh!
In like this is a month and a half after surgery. So I was lying there on the ground, and this arm was not functional anymore, because I tore my tricep tendon and a bunch of other stuff, and so I couldn't get up with that. The other arm I couldn't get up because it had been surgically repaired, and I didn't want to rip it open again. And so I was lying there, and it was one of those things that's like, I've fallen and I can't get up. And so I was able to scooch, I guess,
Yeah.
over to where my phone was and called 911, and they came and picked me up, and they said, "Oh, you've got a dislocated elbow," and it turned out to be a little worse than that. And so I had surgery on that. And
Wow.
at one point I was supposed to be in a cast for my right arm still, and then my left arm was in a cast, and they said, "Well, you need to keep this, you need to," and they were trying to figure out how I could keep everything immobile at the same time. And the funny thing was, one of the nurses left, and she was standing outside talking, and was like, "You should see this guy in there. He's got this and this." Poor man. I was considering it a blessing, because ultimately I wasn't able to work anymore, and I wasn't able to return to work. So I was able to, and the company Metro's got great insurance, so I got disability, so I don't have to do that, because I had said,
yep, you asked for what you wanted.
Right? I asked for what I wanted, and boy, did I get it. And so now I'm, relatively healthy. I still can't, my arms don't work the way they used to, and I've got anyway, but I can stay, and I can do this, and I can talk to people like you, and I can provide positive motivation for folks who want to live their life, and you do that. And that's really why I wanted to have you. I'm sorry that story took so long, but
it's an interesting story, and I can relate, because I had a bad motorcycle accident. I had been working at JOB, as I call it, had a bad motorcycle accident, and was off because of that. My ankle's still to this day not good. Was ready to go back to work, and then COVID happened, and my job ended, and all of a sudden I had the time that I had asked for to be able to write this book. To me, it was the biggest blessing. COVID is not a blessing, and I understand that, but the time that it allowed me to write my book changed my life. But again, it was that I had been saying, I just need time to do me. I need time to write my book. The things that I write about in the book are things that I've gone through myself, because I had that same thing. I needed to find that time. I asked for the time and got it in a weird way, like you did. So,
and it works if you're open to it.
Exactly.
Now, there are some people that could have said, "Oh man, I ripped my arm up, then I ripped my other arm up, and woe is me, and I'm just going to sit here and pour myself into a bottle of beer," or something like that. But that wasn't what my passion is. And so that's why, if I were to sit on your couch and you were to ask me what my passion is, I would say exactly what I'm doing today is what my passion is.
And everybody should be able to live their passion. That's my thing is, if you grew up with your parents wanting you to be a lawyer, and you became a lawyer, but you really wanted to do music, well, go do music. This is, again, the one life we get. Go do what it is that you want to do. And I can see the passion in you. I feel the passion in me. I've never been happier than I am right now, doing what it is that I love to do, spending all of my time doing this. And that's what it's about. It's about doing what makes you happy, that's going to keep you positive and keep your life positive. Woo!
I need to give you $5 every time you do that.
Oh, wait, let me get going here. But it's true. It seems to me that if you're doing what you love to do, everybody is happier. And I understand that we have to oftentimes do things we don't want to, because we do need to keep bills paid. But what you can do is do little things during that time frame that help you get to where you want to be in the long run. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing. It doesn't have to be just working at a JOB to keep the bills paid. There are things that you can do to work towards your goals and your dreams and make it the best life that you can. It took me years to get there, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just, I wasn't sitting there being, spoon-fed or, bonbons being delivered. I was working a job too, so I get it.
Well, and it's vital that in my opinion, it's, if you're called to do something, and now, don't you think, here's a good question for you. In the people that you've worked with, Do you feel like everybody is called to do something?
Yes, I believe that there is a calling. I think what trips people up a lot of the time is that they feel it has to be this huge extraordinary thing, and that their purpose is this huge extraordinary thing, and so that they get caught up in that. There are people like Martin Luther King, which of course today is the day we celebrate him. What his passion and purpose was something extraordinary. But it doesn't have to be that for everybody. It can be as simple as just being the best mother, which is not simple actually, but being the best mother or father out there. Yeah, I know that definitely is not simple, but you know what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be something that's world recognized. It's whatever your calling can be. Something just as being a great parent. Or it can be, Maya Angelou, doing something amazing as she did. So I believe that everybody has a calling. I don't believe that people pay attention to it. I think, and some people are afraid of their calling. Some people know what it is that they're supposed to be doing, but they are afraid to make that leap into doing it for whatever the reason is. I've had plenty of those people that I've talked to through the years that have that fear of failure or fear of success.
Then they're both there.
Yes, exactly.
Both really there. And the fear of success, I find to be, the fear of success is, for me, success is different than red carpets or notoriety or being famous. For me, success is having somebody who I'll never meet be able to listen to a podcast, listen to you, and it changed their life. They go get your book. They read your book. It changes who they are and stuff. And that, for me, that's success.
That's success for me as well. I don't need to know. I don't need to have people call me out in particular. The best thing, the thing that makes me happiest and makes everything that I do worth it is knowing that it changed somebody's life. And I get those emails from people, and it is nice to know. It's just kind of that encouragement to keep going. But even if I never heard from anybody, I know that it's touching somebody. My father was a Methodist minister, and I know that on Sunday morning, he was reaching people, whether he ever knew it or not, because whatever he may have said that needed to reach them on that day, happened. And I know that that's happening with this book too. And that's all that's important to me is I just want people to live their best life and know that they deserve it. And that you can live your best life. And I know that there's traumas that happen. People get stuck in habits that aren't good for them. And we all go there. I have a chapter called Habits, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Which is fun because, I try and make a little bit more fun about talking about those things that may be holding us back. And I help you through that. The toxic people, that chapter is called Bye, Felicia, because it's about saying goodbye to the people that, aren't there for you. It's, I don't know. It's about living your best life, and everybody deserves it. So all I want is to help you through that. And that to me makes everything worth it.
And the chapters of your book, because you do talk a great deal about the different aspects of our lives that, the different aspects of our lives that can cause problems for us. And
here we are. I don't know what in the world just happened, but
apparently the energy that you and I have together has been it threw us right off the bridge there for a second.
I guess so, but I'm back. So I'm sorry, you were saying.
I can't remember. That was so long ago. No, I got to tell you, this is the second time. This is weird. The second time this has happened today, because I was doing a live radio show, and the board operator, who's supposed to be on, like operating the board at the radio station, he had stepped out into the next room. The guest that I had, her connection failed, and so I was sitting there, and I was saying Benny. Now this was going out live on the air. It was like, Benny, who's the board operator, he was in the other room, so he couldn't hear me. I didn't know whether I was on the air, off the air, whether it was my problem, their problem, whose problem it was. It was weird. And so we spent about 7 minutes of that kind of, Benny, are you there?
Oh, wow. 7 minutes. That's a long time on live radio.
Yeah, well, it was kind of live. It was kind of sort of dead radio at that point.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but in any event, it is a pleasure talking with someone like you. And if somebody wants to hire you as a life coach, how do they go about doing that?
You can just go on to my website, youdon'tneedanyone'spermission.com. And I have my book available on there. I have several free downloads, and I would love it for any of your listeners to go on the website and download some of the freebies. I have one, my most popular is 10 tangible tips to achieving your goals. That's been the most popular download. And I'm actually, my next mini course that's coming out in the next couple of weeks is about crushing your goals. So I would love for people to come on and sign up for that. But I also have an area there, a page about coaching, my coaching practice, and where you can sign up to have a complimentary call with me so that we can talk about it and see if it's something that would work for you. And that one is complimentary because I want you to just get an idea of what it is that we'll do together and see if that's going to work for you. And there's also the ability to do it with my resident life coach, who is remarkable as well. So if I'm unavailable, she is available. That,
by the way, was a real tongue twister. 10 tangible tips for... Wow.
And I got it all out perfectly.
You did.
How about that? What? Yeah, it's been crazy popular download. I have one about habits called The Habit Contract, a free download, which is great. That's my favorite because it really, you get to pick a reward for yourself for doing a habit for 30 days, creating a new habit or getting rid of a bad habit. So that one's my favorite. And that one's popular, but the 10 tips is by far the most popular. See, now you're getting me all but it is the most popular because we all have goals. And sometimes, we need help in working our way through them. So
we do, and a lot of times we are, because of the stories that are in our head that somebody planted there from years ago.
Yes.
That we don't believe either we're worthy or that we can, or who told you could be on the radio? Who told you could write a book? And it's so sad that a lot of us stop and don't continue on and to really work to make a difference, because God put us here for a reason. And we decided before, I believe, we decided before we even got here what we wanted to accomplish.
Yes.
And even if, and I was going to mention this, even if your contribution to the planet is to smile and to say good morning,
exactly,
have a positive attitude, and to be nice to the cashier, to be nice to the folks that you meet in your daily life, and to really enjoy and have a smile on your face all the time. If that's it, that's enough.
That is it, because that one smile that you're giving to somebody may be the smile they needed that day. So you're right. It doesn't have to be this huge thing that people always feel it has to be for this. I used to be so frustrated as I was growing up that my dad knew at like age 8, that he wanted to be a minister. And I didn't know what my purpose was, my passion is traveling. So I was, all about traveling. And as I went through the years and started thinking about it more and more, it was that I wanted people to be able to live the kind of life that I was living. It really, I was able to pinpoint that was my passion. And then how do I make that happen? And that's what brought me here today. There's also a point where, I'm 58 years old. I've reached a point where I don't let people into my life that don't want the best for me or aren't supportive of me or that are negative. I surround myself with positive people only. And that could be just, a smile here or a positive word there. It's the old school. This is how I live my life. The old school of the golden rule of do unto others. That's, if I were to pinpoint down to, the very simplest form, that's to me what I want to do for people. I'm going to help them. I'm going to do for them basically what others do for me. And I keep myself surrounded with the positive people to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Beautifully
It's so
said.
simple, right? If you think about do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, it's as simple as a smile at a grocery store for somebody. It may have been the only smile they got today, So that's how I treat people in my world and how I want to be treated. So, and if people don't treat me that way, they're not a part of my life. So,
I learned that I believe that every experience that we have is given to us,
mm-hmm.
and is designed to help us along with the passion and what we truly want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that each experience that we have, I'll give you an example. I drove a bus for 12 years, a city bus. And I learned in that, because by and large, in not the commute times, but the off times, you're dealing with the bottom 3% of society.
Mm-hmm.
People, they can't get a driver's license, they don't speak the language, they're on drugs, for a myriad of other problems that they have. And in a lot of cases, a homeless person gets on your bus, you are the only person that they've talked to all day,
Or
and
that has been willing to talk to them.
exactly, and how you interact with them will have a huge benefit or detriment to how the rest of their day goes. And it's remarkable that, and as an individual, that we have, and a lot of us, I'm getting off on a tangent, but a lot of us don't recognize that we have that power, that as an individual, we have the energy and the power to affect whatever's going on around us at any given time. It really is remarkable that we have that.
It's so true. And that's about treating other people that way, but also ourselves. I have a chapter in my book called Who's the Boss? And it's all about attitude. It's about creating that attitude. You can create that attitude where you are better to yourself as well as better to other people. You can learn to be more positive and to be positive towards others, of course. I have the extremes of, you can be an Eeyore who's always negative, or you can be Ferris Bueller, which is, I'm definitely a Ferris Bueller. I'm about, let me go live life, and I'm going to jump up on that, parade float. For those of you that have seen the movie and know what I'm talking about. But it is about living life and about being, good to others. So, yeah.
It has been a dynamic pleasure talking with you today. And you're the type of person that fills somebody's soul up. Do you know that?
Well, thank you for saying that. I feel that about you too. What a delight you are. I want to do this all the time.
Thank you very much. Well, you have to come back.
I'd love to.
That's just a rule. Because you are, by the way, we're talking with Donna Scoates Nixon, and she's got the book that you need to go buy, and it's called You Don't Need Anybody's Permission. You don't need anyone's permission to live your best life. And that is so true. And that is so freeing. If you don't need anybody's permission, you can give yourself permission, and that's all you need.
That's the only permission you need, is your own. And you need to be able to give it to yourself. And this book helps you give yourself permission if you are struggling with that.
I think that's a pretty universal concept. I think everybody struggles with it.
I think, I mean, we all do at some point of our life, and some people struggle with it maybe a little bit longer than others. But the book is available on Amazon, of course, and it's available at all independent bookstores. I'm a very big proponent of going to your local bookstore. They can order it. Barnes & Noble has it, or you can get it on my website, you don't need anyone's permission.com. If you buy it on the website, I have a place where you can make a note if you want it autographed, either for yourself or to send to somebody. I'll write a personal note in and send that off as well. And that's, if you sign up for the email list, you'll get information on the book club with the author that we talked about. That'll be starting up in the next few weeks, actually, in February.
Honestly, you must, if you have a mind to do this, you really should. You should be part of that, because that can be a life-changing experience.
Yes, very much so.
Thank
you.
You're welcome, and thank you for doing it, because it takes a lot of time and effort and things like that. But you're just giving back, and you're not charging for that. I don't think, are you? Or are you charging a little bit?
Yeah, no, I'll be charging for that, just for the expense of the book and everything going into it. And you get a little something that is sent to you when you sign up for that.
You get a present.
You get a present.
I like presents.
I say I love swag, so you get some swag.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Donna, I have to tell you, earlier today, I had the opportunity to meet and interview a gal that's going to be on the show in next week or two, and she's a model. She's 26 years old. She is 5'10", 120 pounds. Like, I
remember those days.
5'10", 120 pounds. How? And she lives in Hawaii 2 weeks out of the year, or out of the month, and LA 2 weeks out of the month. And you know what? She still has doubts. She still has questions about who she is and where she's going and all that. So it doesn't, you can be a world famous, glamorous model that lives, that is a jet setter, that goes here and there, and people take her picture and all that. Doesn't matter.
No, and I talk about some of those people in the book, some of the people that we all know of and see on TV. I bring up some of those people to make you aware of the fact that you are not alone in that those people that we want to be sometimes, or want their life, are struggling with the same issues we are. So you're right. It's a universal issue.
It's amazing to me because, you got people like, do you remember the show? This goes back, back in the 70s, Chico and the Man.
Oh God. Yeah, of course.
And Freddie Prinze,
Freddie Prinze,
who was 23 years old, had the world by the tail. He was on the Tonight Show. He had his own television series, and he was so unhappy with life that he ended up taking his.
I know.
It is so sad that, and I'm hopeful that if people are free to be able to say, I choose to live my best life, and if you can't, go get this book. I think it'll help you.
It will. And I've been there. That you talk about the model. Back in my younger days, I was a model. I'm 5'11". I am no longer 120 pounds, though there was a time, pre-50s, that I was that. But, I have so much more confidence now than I ever did at that age and looking like that. There's a wisdom that comes, of course, with all of that. But I did a lot of work on myself through all these years. And it was important for me at this point in my life to share it with other people, to be able to help them get beyond, even if you're not in your 20s, if you're in your 50s and want to change your life and have not been able to, now's the time. It's never too late. I'm so big on that. It's never, ever, ever. You can be in your 70s and it's never too late to be able to make changes to have a better life.
And when it is your time, and everybody's got a clock, and everybody's got a time that it ends, on that day, and I'm firmly convinced that on that day that you do not want to have any regrets.
Exactly.
You don't want to leave anything, as they say in the sports terms, you want to leave it all on the field. You don't want to leave any in reserve that you coulda, shoulda. You want to leave it all on the field, and you want to go out saying, yeah, I did the best I could, and I did as well as I could possibly do. And then you can be okay.
Yes, I am all about that.
And as you and I get older, and we start seeing people that are our age starting to drop like flies, it's like you just don't know. So don't wait. Go do it, and do it today. Give yourself, dare I say it, permission.
What?
Give yourself permission to go and live your best life, because you deserve
it. Yes, you do.
Donna, thank you so much for being here. And let's go through your information one more time.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. This has been such a delight, and I look forward to being with you again. Website is youdon'tneedanyone'spermission.com. You can get my book, You Don't Need Anyone's Permission to Live Your Best Life, on there, or Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or any independent bookstore. On my social media, I would love to, I'm trying to build that up. I have great posts on there. It's at You Don't Need Anyone's Permission. That's both on Facebook and Instagram. And on my website, you can sign up for some freebies. That'll get you on the email list, so you know when Book Club with the Author is starting. The new mini course Goals is going up. But I also have 2 mini courses up there right now, ready to go. So you can check those out as well.
And Donna Scoates Nixon has been our guest. Thank you very much. And but before we go, I always like to give my guests the opportunity to say what is in your heart to the audience that's listening now, or the audience that's listening in the future, about anything that you would like them to know.
I just want everybody to know that their life is important, that they deserve the very best in life, no matter what cards you may have been dealt, so to speak. You have the power to make the changes. And you can do that with some help, whether it be professional help or with like my book, where you can sit quietly and read it yourself. It's whatever it is, you have the ability to make those changes. You can become empowered to heal yourself and move forward and live your best life. You deserve it.
Absolutely well said.
Thank you.
And I thank you very much for that. And by the way, if you would like to find out more about this podcast and what we are doing, go to positivetalkradio.net or myindependencereport.com or thinkenergy.fans. There's so many. And you can learn all about what it is that I do, and there's some really, really, really incredible people, and Donna is no exception. She's been awesome today. You will be back, I must insist.
Well, thank you. I will look forward to that. You've been awesome too, and I love what it is that you're doing, and I appreciate the time and energy you put into bringing out all the positivity.
Oh, thank you. That's $10. Positivity.
Yeah, I'll send you my Venmo information. Yeah.
Perfect. And this is Positive Talk Radio, and I would like to thank everybody for being here. Donna, if you'll wait right there, I've got to do this, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thanks for enjoying this episode all the way to the end. Please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. This has been a production of kmmedia.pro. Please visit our website, oddly enough, named kmmedia.pro, for more details about us and our mission, which is to provide great positive programming designed to inspire us all. I'm Kevin McDonald, and I'm proud of these shows, and I truly hope that you'll like them and share them with friends and family. So on behalf of our entire team, remember, be kind to each other, because each other's all we've got. We'll see you next time.